They are all catfishing. Maybe not in the traditional sense where they're using fake pictures online, then you meet in person, and they're about 100 pounds heavier than you expected. But one way or another, if you are trying to date women, you are getting scammed, okay? You are being misled. A woman will lie about her past. She'll pretend to be someone she is not. She might even treat you like a king for the first 6 months or so of your relationship. But as soon as she thinks she's got you on the hook, then she'll start to show her true colors. And this isn't just me being a bitter old loser talking shit online because I don't get any female attention. This is just the reality of dating modern women. This is the reality of modern relationships, and I can back it up too. By the time you're done watching this video, you might be surprised by just how much you agree with me. Just look at the recent scandal with trad wife influencer Sarah Stock. I'm sure most of you already heard this story. I even made a video about it myself, so I'll just give you a very brief summary. By the way, this video isn't just about women cheating. There's a lot of different ways that women are dishonest in their relationships. And it's definitely not all women, but these things are extremely common. But yeah, back to Sarah Stock. Basically what happened was this trad cath influencer, Sarah Stock, had built her whole following based around this image of being a good conservative Catholic woman with traditional values. She was all about dressing modestly and supporting her man and basically just going against the grain of degenerate mainstream society. She had recently gotten married, and one of the things she openly talked about was how she's saving herself for marriage.
Hi, I'm Sarah Stock. I'm 20. I'm from Newport Beach.
You're also religious, correct?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Are you waiting until marriage?
Yep.
Have you always waited till marriage?
Yes.
Well, surprise, surprise, turns out she was cheating on her husband the entire time. With who, you ask? With her boss, of course. Allegedly, she even slept with the guy on the night they met. Okay, so just think about the level of catfishing that this broad was on. She builds a whole social media career around the trad cath lifestyle. She's making TikToks, going on podcasts, posting on Twitter, YouTube, all about how she's living that traditional conservative lifestyle, and she was promoting that way of life to other women. She gets her marriage blessed by the frickin' Pope after an engagement where she publicly bragged about how she is waiting till marriage. Then it comes out that the whole time she was banging her boss behind her fiance's back. Allegedly, her boss even knocked her up at some point. I mean, it's truly mind-boggling to think how cruel the whole thing is. Like, what's even the point? I'm guessing her husband might be kinda well off, so maybe she just wanted to keep him on the hook for her financial needs while she had her fun behind his back. Or maybe she was just trying to swing to the next branch. I don't know. It's hard for me to even imagine treating someone like that, especially someone that you're getting married to. Like, she was knowingly putting on this charade, pretending to hold all these values she obviously does not actually believe in. Like, even aside from the infidelity, I can't imagine just full-on living a lie around your own spouse. You'd have to be an actual psychopath to do something like that. But this isn't even a rare thing. And the only reason she even got caught is because she chose to put herself in the middle of this cutthroat conservative influencer sphere. If she had just been quietly living a double life without the big social media presence, she probably would have got away with it. She probably would have woke up this morning with a sore jaw from last night's activities with Chad, just woke up and kissed her husband on the lips and said, "I'm too tired today, babe. I need to get some sleep. There's some Pop-Tarts in the cabinet. I just need to sleep." I mean, it's ridiculous. And I think it's probably safe to assume if she was lying to her husband about being a virgin while at the same time actively getting it on with her boss, then she's probably had some other, let's say, not so modest moments throughout her life that she had been keeping secret from her husband. I wouldn't be surprised at all if she actually had a double-digit body count before meeting her husband. In fact, I think that is quite likely. It's really infuriating, and truly, I know I already said this, but I really can't imagine doing that to someone. But like I said, this is normal, okay? This is a common thing. And just real quick, because I know somebody's going to try to call me out on this, I know there are also plenty of men out there that cheat and lie and live a double life. I mean, the guy that was boinking Sarah Stock was married to some poor woman. So I'm not trying to act like women are the only ones that do this sort of thing. I have a feeling women are probably the bigger perpetrators. But just think, for every woman that's willing to actively cheat on her man, all the while putting on this goody two-shoes morally righteous act like her man is her whole world, you got to think, for every woman that actually cheats like that, there's probably 20 more that are willing to at least lie about their promiscuous past, or maybe just conveniently omit some details here and there. Like, yeah, sure, your wife told you all about how back in college she did a semester abroad in Spain. But what she may have neglected to tell you about was her one-night-long fling with Alejandro, and Guillermo, and Sebastian, and all the other guys whose names she probably can't even remember. And frankly, I think it really is probably most women that do mislead their significant other about their past, because the fact of the matter is, it is very, very easy for a girl to rack up dozens of bodies by the time she's in her early 20s. And that's being generous. Okay, so I don't know why so many people want to play pretend about this, but we all know if there is an easy way for a person to get a big dopamine rush, most people will do it, whatever it is. And for virtually any young woman living in this world, hooking up with guys is an easy source of dopamine, a very easy source. So obviously, most of them are doing that, a lot. But at the same time, women know that men do not want them to have a high body count. They know that. They know how it is. They know how having a high body count diminishes their value in the eyes of every sane man. So there is a big, big incentive for women to lie to a man about their body count if they want that man to commit. So obviously, that's exactly what a lot of women do. Obviously. Duh. This isn't hard to figure out. I just laid out the reasoning for you just because I like to be thorough, but I'm sure you all already knew everything I just said. Okay, so I don't care how shy and conservative your girl is. I don't care about her traditional values. I don't care if you met her at church. I don't even care if she looks like fucking Darkwing Duck with cystic acne and obesity. Chances are, any female you meet over the age of 20 has already had more intimate partners than you would be comfortable with. And there's a pretty good chance she will lie to you about it if she has to, because she knows damn well you wouldn't like it. I mean, imagine being the guy that ends up marrying this chick. I'm not going to say her name here because there have been some litigious attempts in the past to save her from her own actions, but I'm sure plenty of you already know who this is. But for those of you that don't, basically, at the ripe old age of 18 years and 2 weeks, this girl signed up to star in a certain kind of video, and we're talking about the worst of the worst when it comes to that type of video. I'll be honest, I thought she was cute, so I looked into it. Sue me. But I couldn't even make it past like 2 minutes. It's really just disgusting. It truly is. It's the type of thing, I think if I was dating a girl and I found out she did this, I would probably choose to stop existing. Like, it's that bad. And the thing is, she comes from a wealthy family, yet she chose to star in not one, not two, but 3 videos. I think it was 3. Now, in this case, I highly doubt she'd even be able to keep a guy in the dark about what she did, because there seems to be some very highly dedicated autists online that really don't want her to ever move on from this. But you better believe, if she could get away with it, there's no way she would tell any man she's dating about this, because they would instantly break up with her every time. Of course they would. And this is just one particularly famous example of a girl doing something like this. She'll never be able to lie about it because of her dedicated fan base, but most of the other thousands of women that have done the same exact thing in their past, they can easily just not tell guys about it, and they probably won't get found out. Now, obviously, the percentage of women that have actually put themselves on the internet like that is relatively low, all things considered. But riddle me this. Which woman would you rather spend your life with? Woman A, who did 3 adult videos in her early 20s, but other than that had only had a few intimate partners, let's say like 5 partners? Or would you rather spend your life with woman B, who's been with more than 50 men, including multiple men at the same time? Seriously, think about it. Personally, I find that to be a very difficult question to answer. Common sense says that you definitely wouldn't want to be with a woman that has content of her like that online. But is the woman that's been with 50 guys any better? I don't think so. So the reason I ask this question is because while it is true that in the grand scheme of things, not that many women have actually made those kind of videos, I think it is also true that a very large proportion of women have indeed had more than 50 intimate partners. And those women can easily just lie about it to their future husbands. Easily. And I would bet most of them probably do. It just stands to reason. People are going to do what's best for themselves. And for a ran-through, capital F, floozy, being honest about her past is most certainly not in her best interest. But even if you think I'm overestimating how many women have had 50 or more partners, how many is too many for your future wife? 30? 20? Is 20 too many? Because if you think the average number for the average woman living in modern Western society is anything less than 20, then I don't know what to tell you. But I hope you're enjoying the taste of sand right now, because that's where your head is buried, under the sand, like an ostrich, because you're ignoring reality. But seriously, the average number is probably at least 20. We'll never know for sure because there's no way to conduct a study like that where you actually get accurate data. So your guess is as good as mine, but I'm thinking like 20 to 30 for the median. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm way off. But let's go with 20 for the sake of argument. Okay, so if 20 is the median, that means there's just as many women with more than 20 partners as there are women with less than 20 partners. So that's a lot of, a lot of nice girls, we'll say. But unless she's literally autistic, I'm pretty sure most women are aware of the fact that as soon as a guy finds out they've had 20-something partners before him, the chances of that guy ever putting a ring on her finger drops drastically. So of course, with human beings being the semi-rational creatures they are, it just stands to reason that as a man, your chances of getting misled about your girl's past are really, really strong. Okay, it's a good chance she's going to lie about it. Maybe not directly, but she will omit certain facts and details at the very least. And I think that's probably happening I would say probably in most relationships. In other words, Most guys that actually have a wife or a girlfriend, you're getting catfished. You're getting scammed. And don't even try to act like I'm being hyperbolic calling it a scam. It is a scam. What else would you call it when somebody leads you to believe a false narrative with the goal of convincing you to transfer resources to them? That is the definition of a scam. And it is widespread as hell, and most non-single men are victims of this scam. It's just downright prevalent. But you know what? That's probably not even the worst part, women lying about their past. Because I think you could make a pretty solid argument that women lying about their future is actually the bigger scam. Probably more prevalent too. I think this is something every man knows deep down inside. We all see this happening to other men around us, but for some reason, dudes want to act absolutely shocked when the same thing happens to them. What I'm talking about is when a woman acts very affectionate in the early stages of the relationship. You know, she'll cook for her man. She'll do little things to make him happy. She'll let her man see what that mouth do on a semi-regular basis. And just little things like she'll make sure she doesn't pass gas in his presence. She won't openly thirst after random actors when you're watching a movie together. Just in every way, in most relationships, the woman will just be better early on. So guys get to thinking, all right, this is awesome. My girl really loves me. She's the best. She takes care of me. She cooks for me. You know, I think she might be worth the big investment. I think she might be the one. But you can pretty much rest assured, because this isn't just common, it's almost a guarantee. Rest assured that soon after you really commit to your lady, whether that be moving in together or getting married, pretty soon after you make that big step toward commitment, that's when the good times come to an end. No more blowies, no more homemade lasagna. She'll start turning her head when you go in for a kiss. She'll leave the door open when she goes to the bathroom. She'll go a whole week without shaving her armpits. Just vile, nasty behavior. I might not have any relationship experience firsthand, but I know damn well some of you listening to this right now are probably having war flashbacks. Because this shit is the standard. It's not the exception. This is standard late relationship behavior for a woman. They all want to start off acting like the perfect little angelic trad wife that doesn't mind using her mouth. You know, they lead you to believe that they're all the classic freak in the sheets, lady in the streets. But once they know they got you hooked, boom, they flip the switch, and now they're just farting up a storm, always getting headaches or being too tired. They'll do shit like try to give you an ultimatum about, we're getting a cat or you're never touching me again. Like, it's a scam. How else can you describe it? It's the classic bait and switch. They are tricking you, okay? And listen, I'm not saying no man has ever changed for the worse over the course of his relationship. Obviously that happens. But with women, this is just part of the standard playbook. They masquerade as a woman you would actually want to be with. Then once they got you hooked, they transform into the witch they always dreamed of being. The witch they always were on the inside. Okay? I don't think you can explain these things away like all that's happening here is women are starting off with their best foot forward, then slowly over time they just naturally get comfortable and they start losing the motivation to act right. Because I really just don't think that's accurate. I think this is deliberate, what's going on in these cases. It literally is a catfishing scam that women are doing when they do this. They are pretending to be someone they are not in order to extort their victim. That is the cold hard truth. I think one of the reasons this behavior switch is so prevalent is because a lot of men just put up with it. Because a lot of men really don't have that many options, especially when they've been with the same woman for 10 to 20 years or even more than that. And by the time they realize what's happened, now they're old and they're just undesirable to pretty much every woman in the world. And even when a man does call it quits, he might be too embarrassed about everything to tell anybody the truth about why he had to break up. Because it is embarrassing to be victimized. It's humiliating. No man wants people to know that he got scammed, that he fell for some scammer's tricks. Okay, it's embarrassing. It shouldn't be, but that's just the reality of it. I think that's how it is for any kind of victimization. If you've ever been assaulted or wronged in any way, then I'm sure you know it's not easy to talk about it. And in this case, it's not like the scammer was actually doing anything illegal. So there's not really any benefit you'd get from telling anyone about it. In fact, a lot of people would probably just make fun of you if you told them about it. So most men just suffer in silence, unfortunately, because you're damned if you do, damned if you don't speak up about it. And not only that, but in this fucked up society we're living in, if you try to vent about how you got catfished by the love of your life, people will act like you're the problem for expecting your woman to continue to treat you lovingly, as she should throughout the entire life of your relationship, because I guess that's misogynistic or something, to not just grit your teeth and bear it when your formerly loving partner all of a sudden flips a switch and stops reciprocating. People like to chant, "Women don't owe you sex." But it's like, okay, but what if she tricked me into thinking that was part of the deal when really it wasn't? You know, what if she tricked me? And, you know, as a man, it just feels like you're always in the wrong, even when you're literally getting scammed, because we are made to feel that way. That's how society treats us. I mean, fuck, it sucks. Like, and don't even get me started on makeup. Clown shit. If you resonated with anything I've been saying here, or if you found this thought-provoking, please check out some of my other videos. I also have some super secret videos you can watch for free on my Patreon page. You don't have to sign up or anything. But thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.